I fell down the YouTube rabbit hole and I got thinking about Common Core, confused kids, and memories of learning long division. Now, I with Common Core, you add to subtract, which I could pretty easily grasp because I understand how to add and subtract. But you were expecting them to use about 4 different skills that no one's... The thing with children, I started out as a child, I really did. Bonus points if you know who I stole that joke from. And kids do not necessarily understand what you're talking about. And the kids do not understand what they don't understand, because if they understood what they didn't understand, then they'd understand, we wouldn't be having this problem. Now, I remember learning long division. And I remember bringing a homework assignment home, and I remember sitting at the kitchen table, and I remember Mom lecturing incessantly for hours. You put the numerator into the denominator. What's a numerator? What's a denominator? This isn't explained. You put the numerator into the... I don't understand this. I don't understand that we're trying to put the number on the left into the number on the right. I do not understand this as a child. And everybody just keeps hammering this point. And we're looking at the problem, and we're looking at the example, and I'm trying to figure out how to put the number from the example into the problem, because somehow I think that number matters. And none of this is explained properly. None of this makes sense to me. And it's very upsetting, and it's very frustrating. And eventually I did learn how to do it. And I can do long division, any number of digits on paper with a pencil to this day. Which wasn't that impressive in the 1990s, but now I think it makes me a god among men. But we're multiplying that by like 4, because now you have to know addition, you have to know how to make numbers friendly, you have to draw a scale box, which I'm sure I can understand that, yes, you multiply the length of one side of a fence by the length of another side of a fence, you get the number of cubic feet in the fence. I'm not honestly sure why I should need to do that for a mathematical problem. But I can understand what it does, and I'm sure that isn't explained in a way that makes sense to them. And it seems an unnecessary step. So you're adding unnecessary complexity that isn't properly explained to a kid who's already confused. And it's just... The kid does not automatically know what you're talking about. And because they don't understand it, they aren't able to articulate what it is they don't understand. Because if they understood it, they would not have to ask questions about it. Anyway, that's just my view on child rearing. And I mentioned this to Mom, and her take was, well, if you'd have paid attention in school and learned it, I wouldn't have had to.